Good afternoon. Day after Christmas, December 26th, 2022. Kind of hidden amongst the plants. You have to look good. So here we have something that's charging. We have another part of that system charging. Over here we have that, and we have the tag. And the thought was, why don't we take the drone out, go up a bit, and just kind of have a couple of panoramic shots and see what's going around, what's looking like. So let's see what we can make happen. Which brings us to the next point. Gone are the days of just taking your drone and going out and flying it. You either have to fly as a recreational pilot, you need a trust certificate, you have to have your drone registered, you have to find a CBO and follow the guidelines, or you have to fly as a Part 107 remote drone pilot, commercial pilot, which I recently got certified for, part of another retirement therapy project. So I put together a worksheet. So this is what we're going to have to, not this part, and I could do a screen capture type thing, but my computer for some reason doesn't support it. So we're just going to video. There we go. So this is where our worksheet. So we have to fill out all this, and then here's our actual pre-flight when we're actually ready to go outside. Some last minute checklists, and then when we come back in, there's a post-flight summary. So this is a checklist I put together to make sure I'm following all the regulations as the FAA has requested. So we would need to fill this out before we fly. So maybe we'll do this as an exercise here. So, alright, well, this is the Remote Pilot Drone Flight Worksheet. This is not even beta, this is like alpha. I just created it based on the drone course I took with all the requirements or regulations of things you're supposed to make sure of before you fly. So before we go out for a drone flight to survey the blizzard, day 4, we're gotta fill this out to help us stay on within regulations. So let's just get started and see how it goes. Apologize that it's not higher tech, but I could spend the next 2 weeks figuring out how to get my computer to capture that screen, but I'm just going to use the camcorder here. So expect the date. Alright, so I guess part of the therapy, learn something new every day. Insert key did not work on the keyboard, so now a Google search says I have to go here to File Options, Advanced, use the insert key to control overtype mode. Alright, now let's see if it works. Alright, maybe I'll put that in, maybe I'll leave it out. Continuing intention of flight. Survey blizzard aftermath. It's not officially over yet, but the travel ban just got lifted, so I think the grandkids are going to come over for dinner today, maybe exchange presents. Expected time of flight, I would say today before dark, or not, because dark's like 4 or 5 o'clock. Expected flight path, I'm going to say along Cass Creek and Buffalo. I think there's a little access point down there. It's close enough to the airports to get the data I need. Yeah, shouldn't be any people in kayaks, so I don't have to worry about humans. And maybe we'll just take some views and then go straight up and look around. flight altitude, I would say 300 feet or below. I don't think we're going to even get up to 400 feet. That's the maximum. If you're doing around structures, tall structures more than 400 feet, you could go above that, but we're not going to. So we're going to say NA, visual line of sight only. Yes, we're only going to do visual line of sight. We're not going to apply for a waiver. We're going to keep the drone within eyesight all the time. So here's airspace. And we need to go to the sectional chart, so we need to find what airspace we're in. So there we go. So this is Cas Creek. Anyway, can you see the mouse? I'll use my finger. So Cas Creek comes along here. So we're going to be right on that part. So that's Buffalo Airport. This is Buffalo Airfield. And we're going to be just south of that. So says Class C airspace 2200 to 4700. We're going to be at 400 feet or below. So we're going to be in Class G, uncontrolled airspace. So that's what we need to say here. Airspace classification. We're going to be in G. We have to check for any of these following things: prohibited areas, restricted areas, warning areas, MOA, alert areas, controlled firing areas, military training routes. Check airport advisories, parachute jump areas, VFR routes, terminal radar services, national security areas, special flight rule areas, wilderness areas. All right. And while we're there, let's look at highly populated areas and any obstacles. So back to the sectional. So we're going to be right in this area here. I don't see any interesting caution laser light activity. That might be like Darien Lake or something. I don't see any structures to avoid, no special things. The yellow is highly populated area, so we're going to be south of that, and that impacts some places where you can fly and what you can do. So we're not going to be in yellow. So highly populated area, no. Any obstacles or towers? No. We're getting Class G, no clearance required. This is NA because we're not flying in any of those other things. So let's go check out the next one. Before you fly, we're going to do a desktop version. Let it populate. Alright, so we're going to do this crick along here. So this is a Buffalo Class C. This is Buffalo Airfield, which is Class G uncontrolled. So we're in uncontrolled airspace. So let's say we're going to go somewhere along here. I think there's a good put in here. There's another good put in over here. It says green, clear for takeoff. No restrictions. Whereas we were to go up in the purple area, you can see it says controlled airspace. You have to go to LAC and get approval to fly permissible altitude up to 400 feet with permission, and it could take from 30 seconds to 90 days to get that. So we're going to stay out of there, and we're going to say we're coming down here. So cleared for takeoff in that app. Let's see. Okay, that was this one. This Sidekick, let's see what Sidekick has to say. Yep, so we're going to be flying right along here. Good, they say the same thing. We don't need LAC. We don't need that because we're in an uncontrolled airspace. So, NOTAMs. Let's go look and see if there's any FAA regulations that say can't fly. Let's go to New York. And right now, New York has no TAM, so there's no stadium games going on, no VIP, no security, so we don't have to worry about that. We did check it. Okay, so did we do a sky vector one already? Yep.